Have you ever imagined what it would look like if Dylan Wang and Shen Yue's story turned into something straight out of a romance drama? Well, fans don't have to imagine anymore, because what happened recently shocked everyone and left hearts racing across the internet. Dylan Wang confessed to Shen Yue, and her response? Just 2 words. I do. But how did we get here? Let's go back to the beginning. It all started quietly. Dylan and Shen Yue had been busy with their own projects. No one really expected them to cross paths again. After all, years had passed since their iconic drama together. But fate has a funny way of weaving its own script. One evening, Shen Yue was spotted at a quiet rooftop cafe in Shanghai. The city lights glimmered below. Soft music played in the background. And seated across from her was Dylan Wang. At first, fans thought it was just a friendly catch-up. 2 old co-stars, laughing about the past. But eyewitnesses say there was something different this time. Dylan wasn't just smiling. He was watching her, deeply, intensely, as if he had been waiting years to say something he couldn't hold back any longer. And then it happened. The cafe grew quieter. Shen Yue was sipping her tea when Dylan suddenly reached into his pocket. He pulled out a small velvet box. A ring. No one expected it. Not even Shen Yue. Her hand froze midair. Her eyes widened in shock. And Dylan, usually playful, sometimes mischievous, suddenly grew serious. His voice trembled as he spoke. Shen Yue, you've been the brightest part of my life since the day we met. And I can't imagine a tomorrow without you. Can you believe it? The cafe fell silent. People around them held their breath. It felt like time itself had stopped. Shen Yue blinked, stunned. Was this real? Was Dylan actually confessing here and now? And then, in one smooth motion, Dylan got down on one knee. He opened the box. Inside, a delicate ring sparkled under the city lights. Simple, elegant, timeless. Shen Yue, he whispered, will you marry me? At first, she was speechless. Her lips trembled. Her hands shook. The girl who could always make people laugh suddenly didn't know what to say. Tears welled in her eyes. Memories of their journey together flashed through her mind. Their laughter on set. Their struggles. Their bond that never seemed to fade. And then, with a trembling voice, she whispered back 2 words that would change everything. I do. The cafe erupted in cheers. Strangers clapped. Some even cried. A few captured the moment on their phones, though most knew they were witnessing something too intimate, too real. Dylan slipped the ring onto Shen Yue's finger. He pulled her close, wrapping her in an embrace so tender, it felt like the final scene of a love story. Or maybe the beginning of one. But let's pause here, because you might be wondering, was this planned? Was it real? Or just a coincidence that turned into something bigger? Let's break it down. First, Dylan Wang has always been unpredictable. He's bold, daring, and never afraid of taking risks. So a surprise confession like this? It fits him perfectly. Second, Shen Yue's reaction was completely genuine. Witnesses say she looked shocked, but also deeply moved, as if this was something she secretly hoped for, even if she never expected it. And third, the symbolism of the rooftop. High above the city, surrounded by lights and sky. It wasn't just romantic. It was symbolic, as if Dylan was saying, no matter how high we rise, I want us to rise together. Fans on social media went wild. Hashtags exploded. Clips spread across platforms. Millions of views poured in overnight. Some fans cried tears of joy. Others debated whether it was staged. But most agreed. The love between Dylan and Shen Yue felt realer than ever. Let's look deeper into their journey. From the beginning, their chemistry was undeniable. On screen, they lit up every scene together. Off screen, their laughter and comfort with each other felt natural. Even years later, interviews hinted at a closeness they never lost. But fame, schedules, and life often get in the way. They went their separate ways. And fans thought maybe, just maybe, the story had ended. But sometimes, stories don't end. They pause. And then, they return. So what does Shen Yue's I do really mean? It could mean she's ready to open her heart fully. It could mean she's been waiting for this moment as much as Dylan has. Or it could mean something deeper, that their bond has grown so strong. It no longer needs to hide behind friendship or drama scripts. Since that night, rumors have only grown louder. Are they secretly planning a wedding? Will they make an official announcement? Or will they keep it private, just between the two of them? One thing is certain. That rooftop moment changed everything. Imagine it. A wedding where Dylan Wang stands at the altar, his eyes fixed only on Shen Yue. A ceremony filled with laughter, tears, and promises of forever. Fans across the world watching, holding their breath, waiting for the moment they say, "I do," once again. But whether the wedding happens tomorrow, or years from now, what truly matters is this. Dylan finally spoke his heart, and Shen Yue said just two simple words. "I do." Words that echo louder than any drama script. Words that prove sometimes the greatest love stories aren't written on screen. They're lived. So, what do you think? Was this confession fate? Destiny? Or the result of years of unspoken feelings finally breaking free? Either way, one thing is certain. She said, "I do." And Dylan Wang and Shen Yue's story, but the story doesn't end begun. Because after the rooftop confession, things only became more magical. Eyewitnesses say Dylan and Shen Yue stayed at that rooftop cafe long after the cheers died down. They didn't rush away. They didn't hide. Instead, they sat side by side, holding hands. For the first time in years, they weren't co-stars. They weren't public figures. They weren't carefully polished images for the cameras. They were just two people in love. And isn't that what fans had always hoped for? That the chemistry we saw on screen wasn't just acting, but something deeper, something true. In that quiet space above Shanghai's glittering skyline, it became clear. This wasn't a script. This wasn't a scene. This was real life. Later that night, a blurry photo appeared online. It showed Shen Yue leaning on Dylan's shoulder. The city lights painted them in gold. And for the first time, neither of them looked like stars. They looked like soulmates. Now, let's talk about the fans. Because no love story is complete without the audience that cheers it on. Social media exploded. Hashtags like hashtag Dylan and Shen Yue, hashtag She Said I Do, and hashtag Real Life Love Story trended overnight. Some fans wrote poems. Others edited old drama clips with the rooftop confession as the ending. And some simply cried tears of joy, saying, "This is the ending we always wanted." But not everyone believed it. There were skeptics too.